Hi, it's April Fool's Day, and you're probably expecting some stupid video from me. But, unlike most people, I decided to do something genuine. So, I'm going to read some of my old childhood books. Because why not? I'm going to start out with Ian Beck's Lost on the Beach. Alright, let's begin. It was a hot afternoon on the beach. Lily was busy playing in the sand. Teddy was just sitting. "I like your sandcastle," said Mum, when Lily finished digging. "It's a house for Teddy," said Lily. Mum laid out a towel and set Teddy down. "Come on," she said. "Let's leave Teddy here, while we go for an ice cream." I mean, yeah, you probably shouldn't abandon your stuff when going for an ice cream. Someone will probably take it. "Wait," said Lily, and she tied a handkerchief around Teddy's hand. "That'll keep you cool while I'm gone," she said. "Why don't you just bring Teddy with you?" Teddy sat quietly in the hot sun, but then, whoops, he fell backwards as something tugged on his towel. A small puppy had a corner of Teddy's towel on his teeth. As the playful pup began to pull, Teddy bumped across the beach. What did I tell you? Don't leave your property alone. When the puppy let go, Teddy was over by the rocks and a long way from his sandcastle home. For a while he clambered happily about in between the rocks were pools of seawater with all kinds of creatures in them. He began splashing his paws in the water until, ouch, he was punched by a crab. Was it Mr. Krabs? Probably. "Ah, me boy SpongeBob." Then he sat down for a rest, and suddenly he felt his bottom getting wet. This is a children's book. Oh dear, the tide was coming in. He could never see the sandcastle on the beach on the other side. But how could he get back across the water? He was trapped. Teddy spotted some seagulls flying overhead quickly. He took off his handkerchief. "Yoo-hoo!" he waved. A friendly gull flew down and picked him up. Yeah, I mean, they're prone to do that. I remember when they constantly used to steal my food all the time. Bastards. Whee! Teddy lifted high into the sky. Whoosh! He was flying through white, fluffy clouds. Then, whoops! Teddy let go, and he was falling down until he grabbed the corners of his handkerchief to make a parachute. Slowly he drifted down and landed on a piece of wood floating on the waves. Phew! I don't think even as a teddy bear he'd be able to parachute down because he'd still be too much weight for the handkerchief because of air resistance. Science be damned. Teddy bobbed up and down in the water for a while, but soon he began to feel cold. The beach seemed a long way away now. "I must get back to Lily," he said. He could just see the little red flag on the sandcastle house, and he began to paddle towards it. Suddenly he heard a roaring sound. A huge wave was coming up behind him. Yeah, he's getting messed up. The wave lifted him right out of the water, higher and higher still, until... That's a typo. Whee! He was surfing. What fun! With a crash, the wave bumped Teddy plomp onto the sand, and he was back on the beach where he had started. It was hard work crossing the beach because his paws kept sliding in the sand. But at last he was back on his sandcastle, and he put his handkerchief on his head, sat down and waited. When Lily came back, she gave him a cuddle. "Oh, Teddy," she said, "why are you all wet?" Children's book. You don't have much luck, do you? Good night, Lily. Kiss, kiss, and good night, Teddy. Sleep tight. But we know what really happened, don't we? Right, so the moral of this story is don't leave your property alone, otherwise it will become sentient and crabs will punch it, it will get picked up by waves, and it will become a surfer. So in other words, your beer will become Keanu Reeves. Alright, next one. 10 in the Bed by Penny Dale. There were 10 in the bed, and the little one said, "Roll over, roll over." So they all rolled over, and a hedgehog fell out. Bump. I hope it was Sonic the Hedgehog. So they all rolled over, and zebra fell out. Ouch. A lot of people argue if it's zebra or zebra. I just pronounce it my boy Z. There were 8 in the bed, and the little one said, "Roll over, roll over." So they all rolled over, and Ted fell out. Thump. Wait a minute. Is this Ted from the previous book? Is this some kind of shared universe? I mean, it doesn't look the same, to be honest. He doesn't have his handkerchief. There were 7 in the bed, and the little one said, "Roll over, roll over." What do you think happened next? So they all rolled over, and crow fell out. Thud. This is a very unpredictable book. I'm on the edge of my seat waiting what's going to happen next. There were 6 in the bed, and the little one said, "Roll over." Oh, alright, that's it. I'm done reading that story. I'll summarise the entire story for you. They all fall out of the bed. They all, hit themselves on the way down. They all sustain huge injuries. They all have to go to the hospital, but turns out the injuries they sustained are too damaging and they all die. That's what happens in the story, right? I don't know. A New Home for Tiger by Joan Stimson, illustrated by Meg Rutherford. Alright, let's see how this one goes. Once upon a time, there's a cheerful, tawny tiger. He could swim like a fish, he could cat like a horse. What? Oh no, he could eat like a horse. And each night he slept like a down dormouse. I'm gonna need some glasses. One day at dinner, Mother Tiger looked excited. "We're moving, Tiger," she told him. Alright, that's it. 1 second, I'll be right back. I need to get some glasses. Alright, I'm back. I think my eyesight should be a little bit better now. Alright, let's see. One day at dinner, Mother Tiger looked excited. "We're moving, Tiger," she told him. Then she took Tiger outside and pointed across the lake. "I found a new house for us, and tomorrow we must pack up our things." Early next morning, Tiger put his toys in a pile. He bounced around, Mum, and helped load the bundles. It appears this has not helped my eyesight whatsoever. I knew my optician was a crackhead. "This is fun," he said. At last, they were ready to leave. A little way along the track, Tiger stopped. He took a last look at the old house. I mean, it's just a house. "Hurry up, Tiger," called Mum, "or we will never get there." Well, I mean, it's not like it's going to go away, in a day or so. There's no need to hurry up. that you have as much time as you want together. If the house is going to disappear like in a short amount of time, then what's the point in staying there? It's not a very good house, is it? Anyway, by the time they reached the new house, it was almost dark. Tiger padded through the doorway and looked inside. "It's all different," he whispered, after the supper. "Can I sleep in your bed?" he asked Mum. Oedipus complex. Never good. That night, Tiger tossed and turned. When he woke up, he wasn't sure where he was. And when Mum began to empty the bundles, Tiger wouldn't help. Lazy sod. "I don't like it here," he wailed. "I want to go home." "Well, you are home." Patiently, Mum explained, "We've got a new house now, Tiger." Then she read him his favourite story and gave him a hug. But Tiger still felt grumpy. We'll get him some antidepressants then. He's clearly suffering from some issues. He refused to swim in the lake with the other tigers. He began to play with the food instead of eating it. And night after night, he woke Mum. "I want to go home," he kept telling her. One day, Tiger packed up his things. "I'm going home now," he announced. "This is our home," explained Mum. Well, like he's moving out. Like, are you not proud of your son for moving out of the house? But Tiger had made up his mind. If Mum won't take me, then I'll go by myself. As soon as the moon came up, Tiger set off. Well, wouldn't it be smarter to go in the day? This book makes no sense. Luckily we're almost over. At first, Tiger was excited. "I'm going home," he sang, and he bounced along through the forest. But when he reached their old house, the moon disappeared. Tiger began to feel unsure. He looked nervously over his shoulder. Then he paddled inside. I'm home," he whispered into the empty house. But home didn't feel right. There was no sound of Mum humming or snoring. Yeah, bumming would have been a weird sound to hear. There was no smell of her warm fur or tasty meal. There was no one to give him a hug or tell him a story. Sounds like my life. Tiger felt confused. Then he realized what was wrong. Tiger bounded all the way back through the forest. Mother Tiger woke with a start. "Start? What? Whatever is it?" she asked. "I want my home," cried Tiger. "I want my home." Mum sat up and yawned. "This is our new home," she began. But Tiger wouldn't let her finish. What a douche. You don't interrupt people. I know that now," he cried. Then he tried to explain. "There's no home left in our old house," said Tiger, "because it's all moved here." Next morning, a cheerful, yawny Tiger went out to play. He splashed in the lake with his new friends. "Come to dinner at my house," he told them. That night, Tiger bounced on his bed at bedtime. "It's time to tuck me in," he shouted at Mum. But Mum was still cleaning dinner, and by the time she came up to Tiger, he was already sleeping like a dormouse. Okay, well, we've learned from this book that apparently this mother does not care about the child and just lets him wander off into the forest all by himself where he could be attacked by animals. Terrible mother. Alright, so we're going to tackle one more book. Can't You Sleep, Little Bear? This was done by Martin Waddell and illustrated by Barbara Firth. Is she related to Colin Firth? I don't know. Once there was two bears, Big Bear and Little Bear. Big Bear is the big bear, and Little Bear is the little bear. I know children can be dumb sometimes. I don't think they're that dumb. They planned all day in the bright sunlight, and then, or played all day in the bright sunlight, sorry. When they came home and the sun was down, the Big Bear took Little Bear home to the bear cave. Is it similar to the Bat Cave? Big Bear put Little Bear to bed in the dark part of the cave. Go to sleep, Little Bear, he said, and Little Bear tried. Big Bear settled in the bear chair and read his bear book by the light of the fire, but Little Bear couldn't get to sleep. How many times is this going to say bear? Can't you sleep, Little Bear? Asked Big Bear, putting down his bear book, which was just getting to the interesting parts. What does it mean by interesting parts? And padding over to the bed. I'm scared, said Little Bear. Why are you scared, Little Bear? Asked Big Bear. I don't like the dark, said Little Bear. What dark? Said Big Bear. The dark all around us, said Little Bear. Big Bear looked and he saw that the dark part of the cave was very dark. So he went to the lantern's cupboard and took out the tiniest lantern that was there. Big Bear lit the tiniest lantern and put it to the Little Bear's bed. There's the tiny light to stop you from being scared, Little Bear, said Big Bear. Thank you, Big Bear, said Little Bear, cuddling up in the glow. Now to sleep, said Little Bear, said Big Bear, and he padded back to the bear chair and settled down to read the bear book by the light of the fire. Should be a bear fire. Little Bear tried to go to sleep, but he couldn't. Can't you sleep, Little Bear? Yawned Big Bear, putting down his bear book with just 4 pages to go to the interesting bit. What is this interesting bit? What type of magazine is he reading? Big Bear is into Playboy. And padding over to the bed. I'm scared, said Little Bear. Why are you scared, Little Bear? Asked Big Bear. I don't like the dark, said Little Bear. What dark? Asked Big Bear. The dark all around us, said Little Bear. But I brought you a lantern, said Big Bear. Only a teeny weeny one, said Little Bear. And there's lots of dark. Big Bear looked and he saw that the Little Bear was quite right. There was still a lot of dark. So Big Bear went to the lantern cupboard and took out a bigger lantern. Big Bear lit the lantern and put it beside the bed. Can't you sleep, Little Bear? Grunted Big Bear, putting down his bear book. Oh, so he is angry. With just 3 pages to go, and padding over to the bed. I'm scared, said Little Bear. Why are you scared, Little Bear? Asked Big Bear. I don't like the dark, said Little Bear. What dark? Asked Big Bear. The dark all around us, said Little Bear. But I thought you had 2 lanterns, said the Big Bear. A teeny weeny one and a bigger one. Not much bigger, said the Little Bear, and there's still lots of dark. You can never be happy with this guy. Big Bear thought about it, and then he went to the lantern cupboard and took out the biggest lantern of them all, with 2 bundles, with 2 handles and a bit of chain. He then hooked up the lantern above Little Bear's bed. I brought you the biggest lantern of them all, he told Little Bear. There's to stop you from being scared. Thank you, Big Bear, said Little Bear, curling up in the glow and watching the shadows dance. Now go to sleep, Little Bear, said Big Bear, and he padded back to the bear chair and settled down to read the bear book by the light of the fire. Little Bear tried and tried and tried to go to sleep, but he couldn't. Can't you sleep, Little Bear? Groaned Big Bear. He's really angry at this point. Go to sleep, otherwise I'll kill you. I'm just imagining he's rushing now. Putting down the bear book with just 2 pages to go, and padding over to the bed. I'm scared, said Little Bear. Why are you scared, Little Bear? asked Big Bear. I don't like the dark, said Little Bear. What dark? asked Big Bear. The dark all around us, said Little Bear. But I brought you the biggest lantern of them all, and there isn't any dark left, said Big Bear. Yes, there is, said Little Bear. There is, over there. And he pointed out the bear cave at the night. Well, it's always going to be dark outside the bear cave. What are you complaining about? Just get to sleep. Big Bear, don't need to do the voice anymore. Big Bear saw that Little Bear was right. Big Bear was very puzzled. All the lanterns in the world couldn't light up the dark outside. Big Bear thought about it for a long time, and then he said, "Come on, Little Bear." "Where are we going?" asked Little Bear. "Out," said Big Bear. "Out into the darkness?" said Little Bear. "Yes," said Big Bear. "But I'm scared of the dark," said Little Bear. "No need to be," said Big Bear. Can you just stop saying "said Big Bear, said Little Bear"? And then he took Little Bear by the paw and led him out from the cave into the night. And it was dark. "Oh, I'm scared," said Little Bear, cuddling up to Big Bear. Big Bear lifted Little Bear and cuddled him and said, "Look at the sky, look at the dark, Little Bear." And Little Bear looked. "I brought you to the moon, Little Bear," and said Big Bear. "The brightest yellow moon and all twinkly stars." Well, as far as I know, the moon is white. It's not made of cheese. Then again, I've never been to the moon. Bad Little Bear didn't say anything but Little Bear didn't say anything, for he had gone to sleep warm and safe in Big Bear's arms. Big Bear carried Little Bear back into the bear cave, fast asleep, and he settled down with Little Bear, one arm on the bear book, and on the other on the chair by the fire. And Big Bear read the bear book, right to the end. Anyway, that's all the stories I have for today. So happy April Fools. Enjoy your day, and Bayonetta is the best waifu. Bye.